My testimony, as Mark said, God has done so many things in my life that it is just, well, he didn't exist. He wasn't here. He's done so much. My mum was an alcoholic, and my dad was never around. And when he was alright, but he just wasn't really there. So I grew up with my brothers just doing whatever you do, you know. Life was good, so I thought. And left school. Finally moved to London, and I became a doorman about 10 years ago. I was 3 stone heavier than I am today, so don't think it's small to be a doorman. Previous to that, I'd taken up kickboxing, and I became quite violent doing the door work as well. As people have heard, what I used to do was get together with the guys on the door. They'd phone me or I'd phone them. We'd go out and we'd beat people up. I'd get a phone call maybe in the middle of the night saying we needed to go and do something. So we'd all get in the car and go out and do whatever we needed to do and get back. It was like, as I say, it was like being in a little family. If I needed them, they would come to me. If they needed me, I'd go to them. You have to be tooled up as well on the door. So I had, in my arsenal, I had a knuckle duster, which a plain knuckle duster wasn't good enough for me. I had to have one with spikes on the end of it to do more damage. I had a flip knife and a kosh. And after doing the door for a while, I finally got myself a gun, which I had. And that was the way I went. Lots of drugs, lots of sex, lots of fighting. Sometimes I used to sit at home and watch TV, and a feeling of anxiety would come over me, a feeling of, I don't know, emptiness I suppose. And I'd get up, get my coat on and go outside, and I'd look around as I walked on the street for somebody who could go and beat up. After doing that, I'd go back home, feeling better, feeling more relaxed. A few days later, maybe a week later, the feeling would come back again. I'd go and do again the same thing. So, as I say, that was my life for quite a while. I got a phone call from my mum one day, who previously had become a Christian as well. So she'd been a Christian. She was a Christian 12 years ago, so God saved her. Asking me to come to church and come down and visit the family, so I went down. She asked me to come to church, as she normally did. And I said no, but she talked me into it. So I finally went to church. And I sat in church again, thinking, what am I doing here? This isn't relative, this isn't, you know, I just don't know what's going on. There's nothing that these people are saying can take away what I feel, can make me feel any better. So I sat listening to the guest speaker who spoke about changing your life. And as I sat there, with the sun shining in the window, my heart started racing. My breathing went completely off the scale, and I started crying as I sat there. And I had a voice in my head, and God said to me, Andy, today's the day you can either stay the same or change your life. What do you do? I found myself walking towards the front, where my brother was standing already. He turned around to me and he said, Jesus just told me to turn around because he said you were walking up towards me. And again, as I said this morning, I heard the voice, but my life and the evil that was inside me, you know, people could say that when they talk about evil, they talk about monsters and stuff. That's just, when you do the things I did, it was evil that was inside me. I know that now. But when you blend in with people who are evil as well, you become normal. So that's how you hide it from you. I couldn't give my life to the Lord then. I don't know why. Something stopped me from doing it, even though I heard the voice and I heard God speak to me. My brother gave me a Bible, and as I said this morning, by the time I left Birmingham, got the train and got back to London, I'd given my life to the Lord on the train. And here I am today. Again, He's taken me on a journey, which has gone from, he spoke to me again, he's given me revelation just beyond things I could imagine. And also, I can prophesy over people. I've done it a few times and it seems to be working. So it's coming from God, it's not coming from me. They've come back and says, yeah, that's the word I needed. So, you know, it's God speaking to me. Again, he does things for people who don't deserve things. That's his game. You know, as he said in the Bible, the people that think they're proud, they know it all, he just pushes to one side because their hearts are so hard. They don't get on with what they want to do, and he goes to people who need him, who call out to him. So, are we going to do communion? We are going to do communion, okay. Again, communion, today, obviously, Jesus rose from the dead today, as we all know. This is why we're here celebrating today. He says to me, when I was reading the Bible, I was reading through Luke, Mark, Matthew, and I got to the part on the Last Supper, and it says, remember me. Do this in remembrance of me. And I started thinking, well, why should we remember Jesus? Because he's a man who goes out, he heals people, he makes the blind see, he heals lepers. How can we forget somebody who's done all that and then got risen from the dead? How do you forget? How do you forget that kind of person? So as I was reading, I spoke to my wife, and we couldn't really come up with an answer what the question was about. So I went to bed. On Saturday morning, I was woken at 6:30, and just as a flash, Jesus said to me, "This is what I mean." And he said to me, he wants us to remember him as a man. Not as a God, not as somebody who goes around healing, not as somebody who goes around doing those things. As somebody who sat at a table knowing he was going to die, knowing the pain he was going to suffer, knowing what they were going to do to him. This is what he wants us to remember. Because we obviously remember the things he did for us, the cars and the houses and the jobs and stuff like that. But he wants us to remember him as a man. Any one of you, I don't know, say this quote, could be Jesus in the sense that you're just a normal man. And the fears that you have was exactly the same as him. Even though he knew that his Father, at the end, would take him into glory. So, I think this is what I got, that he wants us to remember today as we sit here and celebrate. Jesus, there's so much out there for us. All you have to do is call on him, and he'll be there. That's it, man. So, if we'd like that you thought about us. You came down from heaven to give us a second chance, Lord. You knew that the day that you died, went down to hell, conquered death, Hades, took it all away. You knew that we would walk one day into your glory if we would only accept you. That's what it's all about. As I said this morning, it's not about giving up drinking. It's not about giving up smoking, or giving up fighting, or giving up sex. So, when you stand there, and do you have a flick in your mind thinking, what was I so concerned about? The day somebody said I need to give up cigarettes or do this, whatever, it's just nothing. How you can sit and condemn yourself. It's so easy to do. I've done so many things. Things I've done I wouldn't want to go into because we judge so easily. I can walk through my daily life today, and as I said to people outside, I cannot relate myself to that person. It's not that I don't care, it's not that I've forgotten. It kills me from the guilt of things that I did in the past. So if you did things yesterday, and you prayed forgiveness today, this morning, it's gone. It's all over. If you did something today, and you prayed forgiveness before you came in, it's all done. It's all done. So if there's people out there that don't know Jesus, and because you think you need to give up this, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, rules, regulations, whatever, come and speak to Mark, speak to Peter, speak to somebody who knows Jesus, and they'll explain to you that all you need to do is listen to his voice. And the more you get to know him, the more you want to change because you love him so much. That's what it's all about.